Alright, welcome. If you can't just tell by my facial expression so far, I'm drained right now, okay? So I need all the vibes tonight. I was considering not streaming. This is probably the least amount of energy I've ever had for a stream. So, yeah, just drop some vibes in the chat, get my vibes back up. I don't know what, I don't even know what happened. I'm so tired, and I slept last night. I slept well last night, but yeah. So we're gonna stream. It might be a little bit of a shorter stream today. Also, just the price action was kind of weird. I mean, the title of the stream is the stock market broken? I don't know. We're gonna talk about it. If I make less sense tonight, you know why. I'm sorry, but yeah, I haven't streamed in like weeks apart from last night, so I wanted to make sure I still got the stream tonight, gave the updates, but the ability for me to get a lot of my thoughts through might be lower tonight, so I just want to make sure I start off with that. But I appreciate all the vibes in the chat. What's up, Scrooge, Danny D, Poop Around at AK, Laid Back, Darwin, Levi, Chetta, Seek. Chetta saying someone has jet lag. I mean, it's been almost a week now. I don't know. D says grateful you're still streaming for us. Thank you. And I love streaming, so it's gonna help me feel more energized, I hope. It kind of already is. Zeke says, we beat the composite operator today. It's gotta give you some energy. Great pro trading premium today. Probably one of the nicest trades in a while. Inside a premium. We'll probably talk about that at some point. What's up, Nerve, in the chat? How are you doing? So yeah, I mean, today the market went lower. It was green at first, and last night, if you watched the stream, I was talking about all the variables showing up, all the 1 hour classic bullish divergence, all the wedges, the double bottom we got from yesterday, and it was all going very well in the first, I think, like half an hour of the day. I think the S&P was almost up 1% at one point, and it closed almost down 1%. So bulls gave up a lot of room intraday. Yeah, it was just a strong morning and then a fade for pretty much the rest of the day. You got a little bit of a move in power hour, but even that kind of faded. So the big question is, Is the stock market broken? We are seeing some very unique price action. At the end of the day, the stock market really never is broken. It's just a place for buyers and sellers. So, you know, it can't really be completely broken. But what we're seeing, in my opinion, is very unique. So we'll talk about it. Look at there. I'm going to start off with crypto. Then I'm going to be talking about some other markets. Yeah, Zeke is saying stocks are down more after hours. We've got some sell-offs taking place there as well. Futures are quite red. I'm looking at them right now. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start off with crypto. Let's see how that did today. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Join the Discord, links in the description. Shout out to everybody who took advantage of the sale. It's now over. Great sale. Congratulations to those who wanted to do it. Again, I'm going to sound weird tonight, but let's get started with Bitcoin, which really did nothing today. It's still just testing this 20K level, which was at 2017 top, and it's been finding support here for now. I don't know if we talked about this last night, but I'm going over looking at the 4-hour chart right now. You probably could look at this as a bullish harmonic, pretty much a bullish shark on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. And it's pretty much double bottomed at the pattern completion zone as well. So as long as you can hold these lows at 19.5K, you do have a nice harmonic in play. It's already it's literally at the go point, to be honest. You've got both the initial and the potential reversal bounce. And yeah, now it's just time to see if hopefully you can get above this white line before breaking under this white line. That's really the easiest way to look at Bitcoin for right now, in my opinion. And then Ethereum got some hidden bearish divergence on the 4-hour. Shout out again to Undershot for the divergence indicator. And it looks like Ethereum's testing a 4-hour breakout. So you've got a harmonic on Bitcoin. I don't know if we can call this a harmonic on Ethereum as well. Let's take a look. Looks kind of weird, but I guess you could call this a shark as well. So a shark on both Bitcoin and Ethereum on the 4-hour, a bullish shark. And you've got this downsloping channel or wedge breakout being tested as well for Ethereum. So if these variables play out, maybe crypto gets a little bit of a relief rally after the sell-off. We did talk about this wedge kind of last night on stream, I believe. And you're just testing a breakout of that right now. So that's really it for crypto. We move on to other markets. Chat is saying flow reading in the chat today. Quite the battle was made between the bulls and bears. Yeah, a lot of indecision, kind of back and forth, tug of war, all that good stuff. And you got the US 10-year going even higher. We did talk about how it broke above that 3.1 level last night, which would have been the right shoulder of a head and shoulders that pretty much confirmed, but just didn't really play out that much. So you broke above this resistance yesterday. Now you've kind of got these highs around 3.25. Let's go over to the weekly and take a look at how this looks. Yeah, I mean, this is the resistance. So you're testing a breakout of it. This kind of even looks like a little bit of a cup and handle. Starting the cup over here, this whole entire thing being the cup. And then you have your little handle over here. You've also got weekly hidden bullish divergence. I mean, not too long ago, I was very, very bearish on this chart. But it's really starting to flip around after getting that bounce over here. So variables can change. It's always a part of technical analysis. You got to be able to adapt. You know, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Just about managing your risk when you are wrong. And yeah, it's the US 10-year. Now we got crude oil, which I believe headed lower today. We were talking about that bear flag last night. You now have some hidden bearish divergence developing. You got the bear flag breakdown. So your next support is around 85 for crude oil. In terms of metals, they're going even lower after topping out at previous supports flipped into a resistance. Silver has actually made a new low for the year, lowest prices since summer of 2020, and it did break under the $19 support level. So sheesh. The next support on silver, probably I'd say around 17.3. And then we have the dollar currency index, which is just testing the highs of the year with a little bit of classic bearish divergence on the daily. And on the 4-hour, it's kind of like a diamond pattern here, just indecision short term, but it might be testing a break to the upside soon. So those are your other markets. I mean, even the Hang Seng Index was flat today, but it gapped down, it seemed, and then it kind of got gains throughout the day. But this is just consolidating in between like 19.4K and 20.2K pretty much. So that's what's going on outside of stocks. Let's move over to stocks themselves. So yeah, I did say last night that coming into today and tomorrow as well, that I'm looking for a bounce. And there was multiple reasons for that. The first reason being we got that lower Bollinger Band and high volume indicator that has worked out pretty much every single time that we've seen it. So you still have that, you're still kind of in the same place. Now on top of that, we also talked about this 1 hour wedge and the 1 hour classic bullish divergence. And this is the part that's like, wow. And this is something I was able to kind of spot intraday. So I was bullish coming into this morning. I actually did play calls and made profit on calls very quickly in the morning. It was, I think I made like 60% profit on lotto calls on the SPY in minutes. And then you just kind of started turning around. So really, you got the breakout of the wedge. The bounce was happening. The divergence was playing out. Everything we talked about last night played out. You were up like, I think 0.75% on the SPY. And then you just lost it. Just level by level got taken out. You kind of formed this major bear flag intraday. It was like kind of over here. You just created one large bear flag or ascending grinding wedge. You broke down from that. And that was it. That was all she wrote. So you had that nice move, but the bears were just able to regain control. And the part that really does surprise me is this. These were your two well-defined lows yesterday. You tested it here, you bounced off of it the first time, but then you broke it. So you were not able to hold that 396 support level from yesterday, which leads us to the next area. You kind of have developed, like just how we had like that double bottom yesterday, you kind of had the same thing today on the lower time frames. But this now leads us back over to the 1 hour chart, where we are now breaking down from a support zone, which is around 396. You could see there's some previous highs at this level and also your lows from yesterday. You closed with a 1 hour bearish engulfing candle. You broke down to the level of lowest candle close of the day on the 1 hour. So now you have to look for the next zone, and that's going to be lined up around the lower 390s. This was also what I was talking about. I was saying for the SPY that you did have bullish variables, and I still see some of them. But what I was saying yesterday night as well was that you're not really at like a technical level. Whereas like the QQQ, which didn't sell off as much as the SPY today, was at more of a technical support. We're going to look at that in a second. But the SPY wasn't. You know, if we go back over to the daily, it's still not at a major level. You know, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. But you do have like this little previous resistance area over here. We can see that more clearly on the 1 hour. We've also got this gap fill around 391.5. So this kind of creates the potential for, yes, you did have variables here. You had a wedge breakout, you had divergence, you got a very small bounce in the morning. But now the question is, all right, let's say you sell off a little bit more, futures are down. So if we go to extended hours, you can see you've already kind of gone down a little bit more. So this kind of creates the question where let's just move this over. Imagine we sell off a little bit more, we fill this gap, we test these previous highs or resistances as a support. And then at that point, we get something like triple classic bullish divergence, which would look something like this. And then maybe we get a breakout or a double bottom or whatever it is. And that would be a lot more technical than even what we saw this morning for like an hour. So that's kind of my next, I wouldn't say prediction, but that's just my thought process right now. And you know, unless we get some sort of gap up in the morning, that could change everything. It's kind of the opposite of what I said last night. So that's where you're at right now for the SPY. Let's go take a look at the other indices and get off extended hours. And let's take a look at the QQQ, which is still testing support. So we were just talking about this on SPY. SPY is really not at any major support. The Qs are at a big level though, and you were able to hold above yesterday's low. And again, the SPY did not do that. The SPY broke yesterday's low. Today, the QQQ actually did hold yesterday's low, which is a pretty big level. I mean, you could make the zone a little bit deeper and include these highs over here, but really what I'm looking at is way back over here, which is this low from March of 2021 and these highs over here from the election period of 2020. So you're still testing that on the Qs. If you go down to lower time frames, same thing. We had like that wedge looking formation. You went up for a little bit. You just pretty much tapped this resistance level, which dates back all the way to like May of this year, and then you just immediately rejected and then kind of went back down with the rest of the market. So not too different from last night. I think from a technical standpoint, it held up a little bit better, but again, with that after hours, you're kind of much lower now. So see what happens in the morning. Then we have the Russell 2000. We talked about how this broke the critical 188 support level, which was support back over here. It broke that level kind of on Monday, confirmed it yesterday, and kind of got followed through price action today. So got that breakdown. You are testing a support here at 183.5 from this low over here and this high over here. If that breaks, then the next support I see is around 178.5. With the gap fill around 179.5. So those are your next levels for the Russell. The ARK ETF, this is actually kind of impressive. With most of the indices closing red, down more than 0.5%, this only closed down 0.07%, almost a flat day, and it's actually still testing the breakout of this wedge pattern it's been showing on the daily. So despite the large caps, the tech, maybe even some of the small caps selling off, these mid-cap growth stocks are still kind of showing a little bit of outperformance, and that MACD is waning towards green on the 4-hour. On the 1-hour, you can see that wedge a little bit clearer, the classic bullish divergence. So the variables are there. And we had energy gap down today. Had a pretty rough morning. It kind of was a little bit different. Like when you had a very good open for most stocks, and it was a very good start to the day, but energy started the day pretty rough. And then you saw most other stocks sell off throughout the day, but energy kind of bounced up throughout the day. It was interesting. But yeah, the XLE energy select sector did gap down to fill this gap. And on the same day, I mean, you kind of double gap filled. You can see this is where you closed yesterday. So you gapped down, you filled this gap over here. Then you went up intraday to fill the gap from the gap down today, if that makes sense. So it's now back testing this resistance around 79 as a support. So keep an eye on that. And then finally the VIX, a little bit of an inside day, just kind of sandwiched in between those two highs from Monday and Tuesday we were talking about last night, and this 200-day moving average. So you're just kind of sandwiched in between those two levels right there. So that is the VIX. We did talk about some individual names last night. They didn't really do much. We talked about this shark on SDC. I tried to play it in the morning, but it just wasn't really getting any bounce, really. Now it's a little bit deeper. Actually, it's kind of like the final limit to call this a bullish shark. You've still got the classic bullish divergence, so it's probably just going to come down to the overall market. Even AMC, very rough fake out over here. Made a lower low double bottom, but then it rallied up later in the day. However, I'm sure this looks like a bear flag on like 15 minute. Yeah, but nice volume into the close, I guess, and you do kind of get above that supply line. So, you know, still just trying to hold that $9 level. You could see this support over here around like the mid $8 area. This whole entire area is kind of a support zone, to be honest. So it's just still testing this major support area. I mean, wow, this is like crazy. This dates back to resistance right before the crazy move in May of last year. I mean, this goes way back. This is a huge level. Keep an eye on this $9 area for AMC. AMC and Fisker. Those are two stocks that, you know, with everything kind of sucking in the market, they're still holding major supports where most other stocks are kind of breaking down and selling off lower. I know AMC has had a horrible past couple of weeks, but at least for the past few days, AMC's been able to hold that level. Even Fisker was green today, up 1%. We talked about this last night. We're on the lower time frames. It's kind of back in this consolidation range, this yellow area. I did set up my alert there at the top of the range. So Fisker as well. You know, most other stocks have gone down to make lower lows, but it's still above its previous lows from earlier in the past few months. So you are seeing, again, we just talked about the ARK ETF being flat today. I mean, it doesn't perfectly relate to Fisker and AMC, but they are kind of similar. And it is interesting to see there are these certain stocks, like if you really look around enough, you can find the ones that, you know, they're not really going up, but they're not going down like everything else. So it's just something to think about for when we do start going back up in the market. It'll be interesting to see how names like AMC and Fisker do. Maybe even SDC kind of did get crushed as well. But we will see what happens there. CLOV today was down a couple percent. Not much of a technical change from yesterday, just selling off a bit more. We did break under the 2.66 support level. Next level I have is pretty much 2.5, which is also psychological level. Another name, I mean, this is across the board, but another name with that 1 hour classic bullish divergence and oversold. So the oscillators, still, we talked about this last night, but still the oscillators are implying a potential for a short-term bounce. You did kind of get that this morning, but it didn't really hold up. So yeah, that's pretty much the updates from today. Nothing too crazy. Snapchat was up 9% today, which is interesting. I don't know if there was any news. This is from today actually. Snap to cut 20% of workforce, discontinue projects, and business restructuring. So this is going to allow them to increase focus on community and revenue growth, as well as AR. Okay, so Snapchat has some news, went up a little bit today. Those are some levels. Anything else that I'm seeing? You had Bed Bath & Beyond down 21% today. Bed Bath & Beyond unveils plans to offer up to 12 million shares to repay debt, finance working capital expenditures. So just a couple stocks moving on news, but nothing really too crazy happened. It was just kind of just a dry sell-off day after the first hour. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. That daily still looks pretty ugly to me on the SPY, but we did talk about those 1 hour support levels at the lower 390 area. Oh, and today was the final trading day of the month. So new trading month, well, new month. Not everything's about trading, I guess, but it's a new month tomorrow. So yeah. Zeke saying memes been weird the past few months. Yeah, I mean they've just kind of not been the same. I'd say they've been harder to trade the past few months, at least for me. And yeah, Zeke's also saying I've kind of gone to SPY and mega caps mainly now. So yeah, that's the updates from today. For me being on such low energy, how did I do? How did I do for the first 20 minutes of the stream? Let me know in the chat, and while you're doing that, drop some ticker requests. I'll do that for maybe like 10 minutes, and then we'll probably just call it a quick update stream for today. So yeah, if you want me to take a look at any tickers, drop them in the chat right now. Zeke saying excellent, thank you. I don't know. I just was in the zone for like 20 minutes, and now I've kind of slowed down a bit, and I'm getting tired again. It's like, you know, like if you're in a car and it says there's 0 miles left in the tank, but it still goes like another 5 miles. That's kind of what I feel like. But now I just use those last like actual final 5 miles, and I'm like, wow. You think AVCT is at a bottom? We'll take a look. I mean, it was up 43% today, so at the bottom, in hindsight, was literally a few days ago. It's really hard for me to do much of any technical analysis on it. And make sure to hit the like button if you did not already. Upstart, hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily. I think any low above 22.5 would be good. That's your like all-time low from way back when, and then just recently as well. So you're trying to get that going. I'm sure on lower time frames. I mean, there's a lot of these like 1 hour bullish sharks. They're across the board. We talked about on SDC, AMC, a few other names, like so many 1 hour bullish sharks. If all of these play out, it could be a very fun next few days. But we do have that gap fill on the SPY, which just makes it a little bit tougher to the downside. But you do have that massive harmonic there. What's up, Ball, in the chat? How are you doing? And you've also got a gap fill over here around 31 almost on Upstart. AMTD, I don't know, this just went to the moon and then all the way back down. Already filled this gap around 2.12. Those are a couple of smaller levels. Really not much I can do apart from that. MACD showing a little bit of hidden bullish divergence. That's really it there. HKD, literally over here. I mean, you're watching the stream. I was just saying we've seen things like this before, and a lot of them turned out the same way. And just add this one to the list. This one turned out the same way as well. What goes up, you know. So yeah, very interesting MACD. But yeah, there's really not much I can do here on the daily. On the 1 hour, I mean, this is still a very choppy chart. You got some classic bullish divergence. The RSI was oversold, but again, just not easy to chart things like this. Ventral says thoughts on crypto market averaging negative 8% in September historically. I mean, I definitely do feel like, this is just off the top of my head, but I just feel like a lot of the runs, I mean, you talk about 2017, you talk about 2020, have kind of happened like after the September dips, like October, November, December, you've kind of gotten those like crazy parabolic moves on Bitcoin, and I don't know about the rest of cryptos and stuff, but you know, Bitcoin's been in the same area consolidating for a while now. I think it just depends on which way it breaks first. That's really it. So not much to be said apart from that. And yeah. So shortest stream tonight. It is what it is. Very quick stream on. It's probably maybe too quick of a stream. I don't know if there's anything else we can talk about for a few minutes. But yeah, thank you all for watching the stream. I'm sorry for a shorter, lower energy stream, but at least I did stream. I was severely debating not streaming at all, but I did it, and I'm proud of myself. Okay.
What about
Premium, I did alert some nice SPY puts today. So this is a week so far in Premium. This actually went up 120%. But yeah, so we talked about last night how I was bullish coming into this morning for the market, and I did play calls this morning. I didn't alert them, but I did play calls, but I did flip bearish intraday, and I'll show you why I flipped bearish. All right, so let's go back over to Premium. You can see at 12:52 p.m. I alerted these SPY puts. These are at $1.19, and these went all the way up to like $2.60. But let me scroll up. Here we go. You had this like mini 5-minute triangle breakdown, but then you actually had a larger 5-minute triangle. It was this one, and that broke down as well. So it was just, I mean, this was your move up in the morning over here. You kind of started giving it up. You could have created a trend line like over here, if you can see my mouse. That broke down too, and then you retested the VWAP. And this is something else I've noticed. Let's go over here. I mean, just clear everything up for a second. Look at the yellow line, look at the VWAP. Since over here, which was August 29th, kind of in the last hour of the day. So pretty much since August 29th, like since then, every single attempt to break over the VWAP, even this, like you got over it for a little bit, but really every single test of the VWAP has been rejected. So that was also something I noticed today as well. Just SPY just can't get above VWAP for right now. But I noticed both of those things. And yeah, you obviously got the sell-off in the afternoon. Puts went up 120%. It is what it is. I'm saying like it's a bad thing. It was a good thing. But yeah, it was very textbook. You back tested it, then you sold off again. Then you actually, I talked about the support when you were at it. Then you bounced off these lows, went up, and then you eventually broke them down. So yeah, pretty easy. Probably one of the nicest trades in a while. That was kind of the trade recap from today. So yeah, thank you all for watching the stream. Have a good night. More energy tomorrow night on stream, I promise. I'll have to drink 2 cups of coffee if not, but yeah, thank you. Have a good night and peace out.